Hello, all you coin aficionados out there, and welcome to DC Coin World International Coin Channel. Today we have some two Pfennig coins for you from the country of Germany. And as you can see, we have a big pile of them, and we're going to try to turn them all over on the two side and figure out which one of these are magnetic and non-magnetic, because that can tell us what year they were from. So Germany made a magnetic version of the coin from 1967 until 2001, and they made a non-magnetic version of the coin from 1950 to 1969. So those of you who are listening closely might note that the years 1967, 1968, and 1969 overlap. So in those years, they made both a magnetic and a non-magnetic version of the coin. So let's see if we can find out which of these are magnetic and which are non-magnetic by getting our trusty old red magnet out and just passing it over the top. Well, that one's magnetic. We got that one. So we know that one was from 1967 or after. There's another one. 1967 or after. There's another one. Going around the outside, there's another. So we have a bunch from after 1967. And these ones, I passed over these a couple times. They are non-magnetic, so I'm going to get these out of the way because I'm looking for a specific magnetic one. And that's one from one of the overlap years. So I've got them all flipped over, so let's pop it up on the stand. And let's take a look and see if we can find a 1967, a 1968, or a 1969 coin, and then check to see whether... and then we'll know that this was one of the magnetic magnetic overlap versions. So let's look. And there it is right there. There's a 68. There's a 78, so that one we don't want. 80 we don't want. 71 we don't want. And 80 we don't. So we don't want those ones. So that's our magnetic version of the 1968. Let's see if we can find a non-magnetic from these ones that we pulled aside that were non-magnetic. That's a 62, so that won't help us. 60, that won't help us. 62, that won't help us. 62. 65. 61. And 65. So we don't have a non-magnetic version. There's probably a reason for that. And that's because this coin here, the reason it's magnetic is they moved in 1967 to a copper-clad steel coin. And prior to that, they had made a bronze coin, and bronze was non-magnetic. So when they moved to the magnetic versions of the coins, some mints did both. So in those of you who know German coins know that there are 5 different mints: Berlin, Munich, Stuttgart, Karlsruhe, and Hamburg. And let's turn this over and see if we can figure out which mint it was. First off, let's look. Bundesrepublik Deutschland, 1968. So we know it's a 1968 coin, and we know it was magnetic, so we can look at the mint. So that's a D. D up here, and we'll blow it up if you want to see the D a little bit better. That means it was made at the Munich Mint. So it's a 2 Pfennig coin from the Munich Mint. These are ears of wheat that come around the outside. Just a big 2 in the middle. And so a 2 Pfennig coin from the Munich Mint. And if we look up the 2 Pfennig non-magnetic coin, we see that Munich Mint made about 19.5 million of them. And then if we look at the magnetic version, which also came out from the Munich Mint in 1968, we see they made about 19.5 million of those. So that's kind of weird. They made about 19.5 million magnetic and 19.5 million non-magnetic, which is kind of just a weird way to do it. People aren't sure exactly why, but many people think they were just trying to use up the materials they had, and why not just keep going and get rid of all of the bronze before they switched over to the copper-clad steel. Now that makes a lot of sense. So in 1968, you'd say, okay, the Munich Mint did half of their coins, 19.5 million, in the old bronze, and then they did the next 19.5 million in the new copper-clad steel. The only way that we can kind of figure that out is to see, well, did they make any in 1967 that were magnetic? And if we look it up, we see that in 1967, the Munich Mint didn't make any magnetic coins. And then the next question is, did they make in 1969, did they make any non-magnetic? And we see that in 1969, only the J Mint made magnetic coins, not the Munich Mint. So it makes some sense. Munich did half of their coins with the old material and then half of their coins with the new material. The coin looks almost exactly the same. There's a different hue to it. Sometimes you'll get this kind of the copper where it wears out, as opposed to the old brass where it kind of never, it just gets darker and darker, this old brass. The copper ones, you wear out the copper clad, you wear out the steel on top and you get this color. And this one you see is quite a different color. So we can tell if we get it under the microscope many times whether it's a copper clad steel or not, which this one is. You can see the copper and steel. And this is the old bronze, and you can see how bronze aged and just gets this lovely patina on it. All right, that's all we have today from the DC Coin World International Coin Channel. We'd love to have you subscribe to our channel if you're interested in international, world, German, and sometimes US coins. And we'd also love a comment in the comment section if there's anything you'd like us to do or not do. Thank you for watching.